Alright, so what's up? Quad Squad, Nick Patterson, back at it with another one. This time, I'm here to give you information, give you knowledge, give you experience. I mean, I sound like a salesman, but what I'm giving you is I've been researching vehicles for the last probably year, well, more than a year. I mean, I've always been looking at vehicles because one goal us quads always have is to drive again, and it is possible. It's just finding the right vehicle, finding the right adapted modifications, and etc. Um, I mean, so I'll tell you a little bit about where my experience with vehicle and go forward from there. What vehicles that I've really almost decided on, and then found something better, found something better, found something better to get it to exactly what I'm meant to drive. And yeah, I'll start it off and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave some comments down in the comments. I mean, I always appreciate that. I mean, yeah, I'm just here to help. I'm just here to share my experience and knowledge over the last 10 years of being in a wheelchair. Hey, so I just wanted to throw this little short blurb in here where, because I was editing it and I tried to shorten it as much as I could, but it ends up being like a 26, now 27-minute video with this little blurb. But I mean, realistically, I can't shorten it much more without missing out on certain details of each vehicle. So if you wanted to, one thing you can do is down in the settings down here, you can put it so that the speed of the video is like 1.25 or 1.5. Therefore, you can still hear the content of everything I'm saying. You just do it on a fast forward, where you can still hear me and take in all the information. And if you want to hear more about a certain vehicle, you can just slow it down and put it back to regular speed. Therefore, I mean, you don't have to watch certain parts you don't want to watch, but therefore you can take in all the content. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there because I mean, I put hours and days, and I probably put a year of time into figuring out all these vehicles, what each one has, and how it suits me, and what works best for me. So, just sharing that information. I mean, it's gonna be a 27-minute video, but I mean, there's a lot of knowledge in this video, and I hope it helps. Anyways, I'm gonna hop right into it. Enjoy the video. Alright, so the vehicle that I have right now is a Dodge Grand Caravan, Braun Ability conversion. And I'm grateful to have the van. We got it through a lot of funding sources because I was 16 when I had my accident, and I'm grateful to have had it. But we have had an awful nightmare experience with it because it's just so unreliable. It never wants to work the way it's supposed to work. The ramp's screwed. The ramp is supposed to be an automatic ramp with an automatic door, making it so that I could drive. I mean, I wasn't in the right headspace when we had that van, so I wasn't going to be driving it anyways, or I'd be getting DUIs. So, I mean, but it was set up to be for me to drive, but it didn't end up being that way. Like right now, the ramp doesn't work. You have to pull the emergency ramp button to actually open the ramp. Yeah, because when they ordered the van, Marco brought Universal Motions, they there's a lot of things that they should have ordered straight from the factory, but they decided to put in after the fact. Save money or whatever, make more money, whatever. And it screwed up a lot of the electronics. And we kept trying to fix it within warranty, but it always kept breaking. It always kept needing more repairs, and then we ended up going beyond the warranty. Braun Ability didn't help, and we just ended up putting money into something that never ended up working. Right, so we just stopped repairing it, and we just kind of made do with what we got. Anyway, so I would never recommend a Braun Ability Grand Caravan to anybody. But yeah, so that's my experience with a van. So I mean, I'm not a huge fan of vans, but I mean, the van that I really actually considered years back, or like, I liked the way it looked, was a Honda Odyssey. Like, I mean, there's Grand Caravan, there's Sienna, and then there's Odyssey. Odyssey is the higher end, looks better, cooler. It's got an in-floor ramp that comes out and an automatic door. You can be driver or passenger. I've seen a lot of videos and stuff where people either trick out the engine and make it like a race car Odyssey, or put rims on it, lower it to the floor, make it really look really cool. So I mean, if I was gonna ever have a van, I'd probably do a Honda Odyssey. But yeah, so that was the van I really considered. At least in the categories, like if I was gonna come up with a category, like okay, these were the three options. These were something I might consider. Honda Odyssey was the one I would consider for a van. So then the next piece would be the Honda Ford Explorer. Really cool, really cool. First SUV made by Brown Ability. It really it looked sick. Like that was the vehicle I was heart set on getting. I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. It's a SUV. You can be the driver or you can be the passenger. It's got a sliding shifter so that if you want to be the driver, you can slide the shifter over. If you want to be the passenger, you can slide the shifter over. Same with the seats. You can take them out just like any other Brown Ability van. The seats are very easy to take out and interchange if you wanted to be one or the other. Yeah, you can get a tow package on it. You can get what's it called? Sunroofs in it. It's got a whole touch screen. You control majority of everything from the touch screen, which is pretty cool. CarPlay. I think it has CarPlay. I can't remember. But yeah, I really started considering buying one recently because I had somebody that had one. And I was like, hey, you thinking about selling? Because I came into a little bit of money. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just get a vehicle for now. And I was really hard set on that because I wanted to get into driving, and that really seemed like a great option. Yeah, the only downside is it's much smaller inside than a van. Like it's very tight. If you're trying to be the passenger and you want to get into the passenger seat, it's really tight. Like you either have to back up and then drive in, like back up into the vehicle and then drive into the passenger. There's also this seat package where you can like lean the seat forward, which gives you more moving room inside of it, which is another cool thing. You can make a Ford Explorer look really sick. It doesn't look like a wheelchair van, and etc. Those are the cool things about a Ford Explorer. And yeah, I mean, but they discontinued it because the biggest obstacle with wheelchair accessible vehicles and modifying one is that you have to have a two wheel drive vehicle because of the drive shaft. In a 4x4, like there is no room to lower the floor. You have to have a 2x4 to lower the floor. So that's the biggest obstacle. So when Ford Explorer stopped making 2x4s, they went into 4x4. Then Brown Ability can no longer make Ford Explorers accessible. So then, yeah, so that was the end of the Ford Explorer. Made it for a couple of years, and yeah, so then they moved on to the next type of SUV. So they made the Chevy Traverse, another cool, really cool option. It's another SUV. It's a lot bigger. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say a lot bigger, but it's much bigger inside, and the door opening is bigger. It's got an in-floor ramp, automatic door, makes it so that you can do it independently. Same with the Ford Explorer, interchangeable seats. You want to be the driver, you want to be the passenger. The shifter is also slidable, so one way or the other. You get what I'm saying? Has the cool touchscreen and a lot of things you can automate from the dash. I never really looked too much into that portion of it. But yeah, you can get a tow package on it. It's got a lot of storage in the back. It's got a 3-seater in the back versus a 2-seater. 3 comfortable seats, which is also an upgrade. It's got a flip down footplate that also flips up. That way you have more turning radius inside. Yeah, it's got a lot more room inside for turning radius. It's one of the things that they prize themselves on. And yeah, and then so that's a Chevy Traverse. You're looking at roughly $90,000 for a Chevy Traverse, all modified and everything, which is, I mean, that's the price for most wheelchair vehicles, brand new. But yeah, so there's that. I mean, some of the dimensions you got to take into consideration with a Chevy Traverse is, one second, I wrote it down here. So the doorway is 30.5 inches. So the doorway wise. And then the ramp is 30.25 inches width. The door height is 54.5 inches going into the vehicle, like the door, actual door height. And then the roof inside is 59 inches tall. It's got yeah, and yeah, those are the main inches that you need to think about with your dimension of your wheelchair, your height, and all that stuff. But I mean, for the majority of power wheelchairs, it should work. And yeah, so I mean, the Brawn Ability Ford Explorer is definitely smaller. It's got a smaller ramp, smaller height. So it's something you want to look into before buying one. I mean, you're gonna buy it secondhand, so you gotta look into those dimensions. I don't have them offhand, but I'm gonna leave some videos down in the description that will take you a run through of each vehicle, so that you can actually see in detail each one as much as because I can cover so much, but I don't want to be running a half an hour video. You know what I mean? So if you want to see those details, just go down in the description and you can see each vehicle I'm talking about. So yeah, so that's a Chevy Traverse. And I was pretty hard set on it because when I couldn't find a Ford Explorer and the person wouldn't sell me it, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get a Chevy Traverse. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, you know what, I really want something that has some off-road capabilities. So I started looking into a truck. And I mean, many years ago, I saw this Dodge Ram Mega Cab conversion where it actually dropped the floor inside and made it so you could be the driver or you could be the passenger, which I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. And you could, and yeah, so, and they use a Brawn Ability UVL and an automatic door. So the Brawn Ability UVL is under vehicle lift, comes down, you get on it, it lifts you up, the door opens, and you just drive into the vehicle and you drive right into the driver's seat. Because I need to drive from my wheelchair. That's what I'm comfortable with, and I can't transfer very well. So that was really cool, and it's yeah, that way you. But the thing is, it has to be a 2x4 Dodge Ram Mega Cab. So because it's still the problem of the drive shaft. And yeah, so but then you can tow big things. You can get a dually. It's pretty cool. It's got all the cool features of having a new truck. Yeah, but with that, you've got to take into consideration the dimensions, just like the last one. So with the Dodge Ram Mega Cab, you're looking at door entrance height is 52 inches, door entrance width is 28 inches, inside the vehicle roof height is around 54 to 56 inches depending where you are in the vehicle. And with the other dimension you got to think about, so is the driver's seat position. So when you drive into the driver's seat behind the steering wheel, your dimensions is 28 inches for your wheelchair, and in the passenger position it's 24 inches. Yeah, so there's that. And yeah, so you got to take into consideration the dimensions because you're making a huge purchase. You got to be informed. You got to know what's going to work for you. But the biggest obstacle with this truck is that they only made it for a few certain years because you need a 2x4, and now Ram stopped making 2x4s. They only make 4x4s. So the biggest obstacle is finding a Dodge Ram Mega Cab in a 4x4. Like, who spends all that money and doesn't get a 4x4? You know what I mean? So it's a hard vehicle to find, and they don't do brand new vehicles with the drop down conversion where you can actually drive into the driver's spot, which it sucks. I mean, I was hard set on that, and I was always trying to find these vehicles, but it's very hard to find one. So yeah, I mean, but on a side note, if you're looking to do like a transfer seat where you got a 6-position transfer seat, then you can still do that Rhino Mobility conversion where they have a UVL and they drop part of the floor inside the cab, so that you can get lifted up into there with your wheelchair, but then transfer into the transfer seat. Therefore, you can still get a brand new Dodge Ram Mega Cab um, with that type of conversion, but you can't drive your wheelchair into the driver's spot, I guess, because drive shaft, biggest obstacle. Um, but yeah, so I'll leave a little video in the description for that type of one. Also, besides the older version where it's really hard to find that type of vehicle. Um, but yeah, so it's because I want to travel, and I was like, you know what, it'd be cool to have a truck where I can tow a huge trailer, um, and but the thing was that if I'm gonna be doing long road trips, like it's not gonna be super comfortable being in a Dodge Ram Mega Cab with a flip down bench seat. Like it's probably not a very comfortable seat. Um, and I'm gonna be traveling with more than one person, me, my PSW, my mom, and my brother. So sitting on that bench seat's not gonna be comfortable very long. So then I started really thinking more so outside the box, and I was like, you know what? I really want a 4x4. My mom lives up in Muskoka. I want to figure out how I can get a 4x4. So I was like, you know what? They make Mercedes Sprinters and 4x4s. I actually kind of like was joking around way back in the beginning. Actually, like, yo, maybe I get a Sprinter. I put a big Monster Energy sticker on it, like when people like mountain bikers tour around. And then I really actually started thinking about it, and I started looking up on YouTube, and there's tons of people doing that van life thing, or just turning one of those vans into a souped up 4x4. You put a lift kit on it, sick rims, and then there's no limitations. Like you can drive wherever. You're not gonna get stuck. I mean, you might still get stuck if you go mudding. Um, but yeah, so I started really thinking and looking at that, and the thing with the Mercedes Sprinter is like it's all one level really. Inside, like if you took out the seats, you could literally drive into the driver's seat like no problem. And so I didn't think it would be a problem. So I started asking around, being like, you know what, I want a Sprinter. And I had so many people tell me, no, you can't. Like you can't drive from your wheelchair in a Sprinter. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. You can drive up to the driver's seat. And they're just like, no, there's no way to latch you down. Like there's no, I guess because the batteries and stuff are underneath the driver's position, can't lower the floor and stuff like that. But I was like, nothing's impossible. Like I mean, and I kept persevering with figuring out how I can make it possible because I was then hard set on it. Because then you can travel the world and basically everyone's comfortable inside. You could have a bathroom, you can have a sink, you can have a bed, you can have a couch, you can have all the amenities that you need for traveling, and you could even stay in it if you really wanted to. And the thing is, you get 4x4, a wheelchair accessible vehicle that's 4x4, no limitations, etc. So I started looking into it, and I figured it out. I had Marco from Universal Motions tell me that it is possible. So I really started looking at it. So I'll tell you more about the Sprinter. So basically, what you would do, what at least what I'm gonna do with my Sprinter, because I've now decided on it, and I actually ordered one, is I'm gonna put a Braun Ability UVL with an automatic door, and that's gonna get me in the vehicle. And now there is a latching system from Europe, which is it's called DAHL, DAHL, and they're the only latching system that makes it so it's possible to drive from your wheelchair in a Mercedes Sprinter. They're doing it over in Europe, no problem. Like they're pumping them out, but they haven't done it here in Canada, or at least they haven't. Most people haven't done it. The only person that I know, Marco's told me it's possible, but I don't know if he's actually done them. So after my bad experience, I'd rather. So I started looking around, and yeah, so it's possible and getting it done. And with a Mercedes Sprinter, now I'll tell you all the coolest things about getting a Mercedes Sprinter. Besides turning it into a mini RV, and you can customize it to whatever way you want, I'm going to actually get into it and actually find the right people and modify it myself and possibly do that going forward. And yeah, so with a Mercedes, you get the newest features that are available in vehicles because it's a Mercedes, like I want a Mercedes. I mean, that's what I want. And yeah, so the main features that I was looking for in a Mercedes. I didn't know this until I already decided on it and decided I was going to get it, and started building one. Is that you can literally, so there's active lane assist, then there's active distance distronic, like brake assist, and then there's active cruise control. And with all three of those things, it makes it so the vehicle will literally like drive itself. Like you still have to sit in the seat position and still be on hands on the wheels and stuff like that. But like it will keep you in the lane. It will make it so that the active distance like brake assist is, so say someone comes up beside you and is going 80 miles per hour and you're going 120 and they pull in front of you, the vehicle will automatically brake and slow you down and keep that distance, which is really cool. I mean, as an accessibility feature, like that's crazy, and keeping you in the lane, because my biggest fear about getting into driving is driving on the highway, like at really high speeds. I've never done it before, but that's going to assist me in that, and it's going to make me more comfortable with it. Other things are basically, I'm going to go through my list, yeah, and blind spot monitoring, so you'll have some blinking lights if someone's coming up on your blind spot and you can't see it. Yeah, you can get the parking package, so the vehicle will literally like park itself, and you can get a 360-degree camera to help with parking or being able to see completely around the vehicle on your dash screen. You can get a 10-inch screen or a 7-inch screen. You can like control everything from your screen. There's CarPlay where you just connect your phone and you can do everything from your touch screen. Like there's no reason to have your phone out, because you can do everything from it. So you're not distracted. You can get it too. And it's also, there's this like Hey Mercedes feature where you can talk to your vehicle and get it to do things or tell you things and stuff like that. Traffic sign assist, so it will help tell you like wherever you are, it will tell you what what the max speed in that area is, or your mid speed or whatever. It will tell you what area you're in, what the speed limit is, etc., which is pretty cool. Automatic high beam assist, so if someone's coming at you and you've got your high beams on, it will turn it off. Rain sensor, if it's raining, it will do the wipers for you. It's got a wet wiper system, so instead of spraying all over the windshield, it just sprays it on the wiper. I don't know what that's going to be like, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, CarPlay, and it's crazy. Like I'm so stoked to get my vehicle, like so stoked. And I mean, there we go. Like you're not limited. Like, and the thing is that you're gonna be spending at least $100,000 on a wheelchair accessible vehicle, whether it's a van, whether it's an SUV, or whether it's a 4x4 Sprinter with a UVL in it, and all of these coolest features that you can have in a dual locking system, automatic locking system, and if you want, you can turn it into a mini RV. I'm gonna do that. And if maybe in the future you want to do that, you bring it to me and I'll get it done. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's something I might do. I mean, we'll see how it goes with mine. I hope you follow the journey, because it's gonna be pretty cool. But anyway, so that's my experience with vehicles. How I got to decide on the vehicle that I'm getting. But yeah, I mean, I can tell you more about the other vehicle, like the other trucks as well, like. Like I know that there's the trucks out there where there's a little platform that it will open like a gull wing, and the platform will come down, you back onto it, and it lifts you up and puts you in the driver or the passenger seat, which is really cool, and it might work great for plenty of people that just want to specifically be the driver. But the thing is that if like I want a vehicle where I can be the driver or I can be the passenger, because I'm going to do traveling and stuff like that. And if I'm too tired to drive, I don't want to be limited by having to drive. Because the thing with those platforms is that you're restricted to be the driver or you're restricted to be the passenger. So if you're too tired and you can't drive, like you can't get into the passenger seat. You know what I mean? So that's a huge limitation. Like it's not really accessible to me. I mean, it's accessible to a point. You know what I mean? So I mean, those are really cool. Like, no lie, those probably work for a lot of people, but it didn't work for me, and it's not going to work for me. So that's why I looked elsewhere. Um, and there's plenty of other vans out there. Like you can also get a Ford Transit. I never really looked on how to make those accessible, or you can get the Ram ProMasters. Wheeltrans uses those. I don't know how to make those ones accessible. I can look into that for you guys if you want. Just leave it down in the comments. If you want me to look into other vehicles and tell you about those vehicles, just let me know. I can definitely do that. Because I've got a good knowledge of them, but I don't know the details down to a point. Because I'm getting a Mercedes. I'm getting a Mercedes Sprinter. If we're going to be spending the money, like if we're going to be spending that much money on a vehicle, you might as well get the best vehicle, the top of the line vehicle that you're going to get the bang for your buck. This vehicle is going to be your vehicle for 5 to 10 years. Like, and the thing with the Mercedes is it's a diesel. Diesels run forever. I mean, yeah, it might be hard to find a diesel gas station, but they're out there, and like people have to help you with doing your gas. Like that's by law, gas stations have to pump your gas for you because we're in a wheelchair. I think at least that's what my mom told me. And yeah, so that's my experience, and I hope that all you guys took something from this. And I'm just trying to give you the experience and the education of being in a wheelchair for 10 years so that you don't have to waste and stress your time trying to figure this stuff out, because people don't give you the information. You have to go and find that information. And I've went and found that information 10,000 times. So I just want to share that information back so I don't have to work so hard. But anyways, super freaking long video. I mean, you can fast forward. I hope you fast forward some pieces if you wanted. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys keep rolling, keep tugging on, make do with what you got, and carry on. And I hope all this helped. I'll leave a whole bunch of information down in the description. And if you wanted to go see details, a walkthrough of certain vehicles, I'll put it down there. And yeah, leave me comments if you like this information and you took something from it. Anyways, peace.